Hi folks, Dan here from Danaconda Outdoors, and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to be going over how to pack for a hunting trip. Big game, small game, whatever it is, if you're going to be flying with your firearm, and also some tips on packing your hunting gear, things that you're going to need you can't live without, and how to get that into your baggage without going over the 50-pound weight limit. There's several things I'll go over about packing the firearm according to TSA. We'll kind of go over the general rules with that. But you definitely want to check with your airline to see if they have anything specific. The last thing you want is to get to the airport, getting ready to board, and find out that your firearm is not properly stowed for your checked luggage, and that you will have to miss your flight, or hopefully not leave in handcuffs. Everything is very, very important to get correct. All right, stay tuned. We're going to get right into this. All right, so you purchased your big game license or your hunting license in another state. How are you going to get there? A lot of times I like to drive, but this year I'm going to be flying, and you maybe find yourself into a situation where you have to fly as well. Heading back to Colorado from Pennsylvania, I didn't want to burn 2 days driving out there, so I bit the bullet and decided to fly. So let's go over a few things about probably the most important thing besides your hunting license is how to stow your weapon, your firearm, for TSA approval, airline approval. Make sure that that rifle or gun makes it to your destination. I specifically chose a flight that was direct, so less chances of things getting shuffled around and missed on a connection as far as luggage. So here we go. So the first thing you have to do is you definitely have to have a hard-sided or a hard shell case for your weapon. You cannot use a soft case. They just don't allow it. Doesn't matter what airline it is. You will not be able to fly with that. All of your weapons, ammunition must be in checked baggage. I happen to be flying Southwest. They allow one gun case, but you can put as many weapons in here as you'd like. But this is the Ilar. I got this off Amazon. It was a couple $100. Great purchase. It is about 20 pounds dead weight with nothing in it. So you'll want to keep that in mind, because we're kind of shooting for that 50-pound mark when we are packing things up. And we're going to use every available space to maximize our chances of getting 2 bags checked for free under 50 pounds. All right. So again, this is a Ilar hard shell case. It's got 4 clasps here, and it has 2 eyelets for locks. They are, looks like they're aluminum around the eyelets, so it's a little more sturdy. But inside the case here, we have our weapon, of course. This particular one has a plucked foam, which you can use or not use. It's up to you. But I do have my rifle in here with my scope. I have some ammunition as well, and then I have some cutout space for my magazine. Also, I will be bringing a handgun with me and some ammo for that as well. Now with just this in here, packed in here, we're looking at about 33 pounds. So you can certainly pack more gear on top of this, which I will be doing. Laying out clothes, it's not only going to disperse the weight from your other luggage, it's also going to secure this weapon, as it is going to get banged around during travel. Okay, so for TSA, it's got to be in a hard shell case, and you have to be able to lock it. This box with a lock, and that they can't get into it. Okay, if they can pry into this, you're gonna have a lesson in tough luck. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna open up your clasps here, and they're gonna check your locks to make sure that they're secure, and they're gonna try to open this. Now, as you can see, it might come up about a 1/4 inch or so, but if they can't pry their way in here to get their weapon, you're pretty much going to be safe with that. So just make sure that you have a decent lock that's heavy duty enough. They can't just break the lock per se, and you should be in pretty good shape with that. Let's talk a little bit about how you can maximize your check baggage. Again, 22 pounds with a empty box. I'm at 33 pounds with the gear I have in it, which is my rifle, magazine, about 4 pounds of ammunition, and I'm actually going to have my handgun as well, as I mentioned earlier. So that's going to add a little bit more weight. But here's some tricks that you can do. You take some of your gear, you can layer it in here. Okay. Not only is this going to, give a break on some of your other check bags as far as weight goes, but this is also going to give an extra layer of protection for your rifle getting banged around. It's going to hold it in place. I like to have, sometimes I'll put my optics in here as well, and then I'll have anything that has to be checked, like your buck knife, any other pocket knife or anything like that. Anything of value. I have my walkie-talkies, and of course my trusty GPS. So you can layer this in here, scrunch it down as much as you want. I'm not sure if it's going to close with this, with the optics in here, but we're going to give it a shot. I do have some pockets for a few of these things that I can get down below the helm here, and keep those secure. And this should just kind of close up. I may need to pull the optics out of this one, which looks like I might have to. Can always pluck a spot for the optics. So yeah, you can definitely layer a few pieces of clothing in here. It's up to you. As long as you can get this closed, I can actually pull this foam out of here if I would like, which I may end up doing, because this is going to serve as a protectant as well. But once you get your stuff laid in here, go ahead and close everything up and lock everything into place, and you'll be good to go for that. I would also recommend getting yourself one of those little scale things so you can kind of see where you're at. All right, folks, let's talk a little bit about some of the gear that I will be bringing. Of course, it varies on the type of hunting you're doing, what you're going to need. I'm fortunate enough to be meeting up with my hunting crew that already lives in Colorado, from the state that I moved away from, to Pennsylvania here. They have a whole RV set up, so things like sleeping bags, bedding material, that type of thing, shelter is already taken care of. So if you're traveling and you have to bring your shelter, your sleeping bags, your packing situation might be a little bit different than what I have. But let's just talk about some of the basic things that you're going to need. Number one, you're going to need, make sure that you have your hunting license with you. And state of Colorado, you have to carry your hunter safety, unless you get verified from the Department of Wildlife out there, which unfortunately I never did when I lived in the state, but I have my hunter safety. So just make sure that you bring that with you. You might as well have everything that you possibly need, and just in that circumstance that you might need to present that. But some of the basics. Boots, got to have boots. I actually have 2 pairs of boots. These boots are probably about 5 pounds. So that's quite a bit of weight when you're trying to count every single pound when you're packing for your checked baggage. My little tip on this, we're not going to be packing these. We're going to pack 1 pair of boots, whichever pair is lightest, and I will be wearing these with me when I fly. That weight will already be on my person. It won't go towards my checked baggage, and I will eliminate about 5 pounds of baggage right there. You want to make sure that you have your buck knife, and I also bring a pocket knife that I can use if this, kind of, sometimes it gets dull in the field when you're field dressing, but this is a nice little Damascus, which has a really great blade on it, and it folds down into this nice little case that I can wear on my side. I highly recommend getting yourself some type of GPS. so many great uses that you can get out of a GPS. It can certainly help you in an emergency situation to get you back to your camp or home or to someplace safe. This has come in handy for me several times over the years where I've got into spots where I was really turning around, but thanks to this guy, they got me back on track. This is my rangefinder, just to kind of get some things dialed in. You know, it's handy to have out in the field, especially if you're scoping out some wildlife to kind of get those accurate yardage for shots. I like to bring a little bit of rope in the hopes that I am lucky enough to get an elk this year. This will help me strap it onto my pack and whatnot. And there's just I could make a whole video just on the usefulness of this parachute cord, but we're not going to get into that today. Just have some parachute cord. I highly recommend it. This is about 50 feet, way probably more than I need, but I'd rather have it, not need it, than not have it and need it. Headlamp, of course, you want to have that. Whatever kind of optics you're going to be bringing, I just have 10 by 24 optics here that I like to use. The rest of my group, they actually have the really nice spotting scope, so I don't have to worry about any of that type of thing. Some kind of rain gear. I picked up some frog togs. I've used these over the years, and they've come in pretty handy. It's pretty lightweight. We're looking at about 1.5 pounds here. So that's another great thing. And then if you haven't done so already, I highly recommend getting some of these packing cubes. These, you can fit a lot of stuff in here and you can condense it down. They zip. The zippers are really good on this particular one. You can pick them up online, just about anywhere. They're not very expensive, but they really help with keeping your stuff condensed, compressed, and make enough room for all of your gear. Also, I like to pack a little camp stove. This is just like one of those little rocket stoves, got the windproof on it. This comes in handy for, you know, everybody's in an RV, everybody's cooking some breakfast. You want to get something quicker, you just pop this on outside. The one thing that, you know, I have to talk about is that this particular one takes an isobutane fuel. You cannot travel with any type of fuel canisters, so you will have to pick some up in your destination and then go from there. But these things come in really handy, you know, for boiling water, heating up soups. I like to use them for the Mountain House, you know, dehydrated MREs, meals ready to eat. This makes this process a really quick and easy and efficient way to get your water heated up and have a meal ready to go. So you got to have yourself a pack. Okay, this is a frame. This is an Alice frame. This is my father's back when he was in the Army. I did have to replace some of the straps on this stuff, and I picked up a little shelving unit that pops on and off here to help, you know, carry a load if I need to. And what's nice about this particular pack is it will fit right inside of my carry-on. It'll fit right in here, smush down in there, and then I can pack things on top of that. So this is really handy for me. And I'm not even bringing the actual pack part of it. I'm just going to be using the frame to pack out. I'll have a regular pack that will have all of my clothes packed in it for this trip. Almost all of my clothes. I will have some packed into the rifle case, of course. And then the other thing that I like to bring is just, you know, a very simple, lightweight, foldable chair. This can strap right onto my day pack when I'm out in the field. It sets up obviously really quick, and this particular one's a tripod. So I've found that this has saved my back when I'm sitting in the evening. You know, I get myself off of the ground, helps me stay a little bit warmer, and I highly recommend this. This is about 3.5 pounds, 4 pounds maybe. So it does take up a little bit of weight for my calculation, but you know, I've found with this, I'm so much more comfortable out in the field, and it's easy to lug around with me. Even has a little strap on there if I need to be on the move for anything. And then The next thing that you want to have is, so we talked about, this is a carry-on piece that I'm going to have. We talked about the rifle case with some extra clothing and such in there to help equalize that out to about 50 pounds. And then the other thing that you'll want to have is some kind of a tote. This particular one I've had for many years. I use it for fishing a lot. It's got a lower space for boots and gear and such like that, and then the top cargo space here. And again, you can pick this up pretty much online at any of the places. But what's nice is it has the double storage on it where I can put some things underneath, and it actually has some rollers as well. So it's very convenient. And my goal is to have that packed to about 50 pounds, 45 to 50 pounds, and then my gun case with the other 50 pounds of gear. And according to my calculations with all the clothing and such that I'm bringing, I'm right at about 50 pounds on the gun case and pushing 50 pounds on my tote bag. And then, of course, I'll have a second personal item to bring, which will be another smaller backpack that I can put any last minute gear, clothing, things like that, that's not going to have a weight limit. So those are my tips and tricks for packing for a flight to carry your firearm on a hunting trip. I certainly hope you enjoyed. I hope that you come back to the channel. I'm going to be heading out to Colorado next week, and we are getting into some bull elk territory. We have a few cow tags as well. So I should have some videos posted on that. So in the meantime, you stay fishy, you stay elky, whatever you want to call it, but just make sure you have fun. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will see you soon.